Just last year, the whole world hated Caleb Williams.
I don't like Caleb Williams.
When and where is it acceptable for a man to cry? He's soft. He's a crybaby.
He has been abysmal. He has been a disaster.
After a brutal rookie season where he led the Bears on a 10-game losing streak, the media, critics, and even Bears fans were ready to give up on him.
Right now, as we speak, he's the worst quarterback drafted in the first round.
But this year, he's proving everyone wrong.
Snap back to Caleb with a bunch set to the right. Pressure starts to close on him, running away from it to the near side, gets it away.
Caleb Williams has the opportunity to be the biggest thing in Chicago since Michael Jordan.
He's got it inside the 35. My goodness, what a throw, what a catch. Bears stay alive.
This is how legends are born.
This is what a generational quarterback looks like.
Caleb Williams is rewriting what it means to be a Bears quarterback. He's been the driving force behind the Chicago Bears, completely turning their franchise around and becoming one of the scariest teams in the entire NFL.
The guy gives you a chance to win every game.
They will always find a way to win if you leave the door open.
But there's a new one-armed man in Chicago, and his name is Caleb Williams.
So, how did Caleb Williams break the Bears' curse and become arguably the most clutch quarterback in all of football? Well, to figure that out, you have to understand why, before this season, Chicago was widely regarded as a place quarterbacks go to die. For years, the Bears have never had a truly great passer. They've never even had a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards in a season. Jay Cutler gave the city hope in 2010 when he delivered the Bears their last playoff win. But injuries, inconsistency, and constant chaos kept them from ever becoming the guy. In 2017, the Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky second overall, hoping he could save the franchise. He showed flashes, but a toxic environment caused everything to fall apart, and he was gone after 4 seasons. In 2021, Justin Fields was drafted 11th overall. The talent was there, but poor coaching and a bad supporting cast doomed his tenure after just 3 years. Through it all, one thing never changed: instability. Coaches came and went. Quarterbacks flashed, then failed. Hope skyrocketed, and then crashed. By the early 2020s, the Bears were stuck in purgatory, unable to find the one player who could save them. That is, until 2024. When the Bears selected Caleb Williams with the first overall pick, something felt different because there was something about him, a certain magic. A magic he's had long before anyone knew his name. Born in Washington, D.C., football was the center of Caleb Williams' life from the start. At just 4 years old, he fell in love with the game and he played all over the field. However, after a brutal loss when he was just 10 years old, everything changed.
It was a tough loss. I took it to heart. I wanted to switch to quarterback. I wanted to be able to spread the ball around. I wanted to be a reason why we would win games. From there on out, my dad went to work and he put things in place for me.
He wanted to become the greatest quarterback ever. So his father, Carl Williams, constructed what their family called the plan. Every workout, every meal, every decision, all of it was designed to mold Caleb into an elite quarterback. He trained before and after school, traveled the country to work with quarterback coaches, followed a strict nutrition plan, and even received media training. Caleb Williams was practically built in a lab, and by high school he was already one of the most promising players in the region. At Gonzaga High School, he became the varsity starting quarterback as a freshman, but his sophomore season is when he really got his name out there. He led his team to the WCAC championship, where with seconds left on the clock, he became a local legend.
Ball's in the air. And somebody caught that. Did somebody catch that? Gonzaga, did they catch that? Touchdown, Gonzaga! The Gonzaga Purple Eagles win the WCC on a last-second touchdown pass.
A last-second Hail Mary game winner capped off a 470-yard, 7-touchdown performance, bringing Gonzaga their first championship since 2002. From that moment on, he became one of the top quarterback prospects in the nation. After high school, Caleb Williams joined the Oklahoma Sooners with the goal of becoming the starter in his freshman season, but he wouldn't get his opportunity until the team's rivalry game against Texas. With the Sooners trailing 35-17, starting quarterback Spencer Rattler was benched, and Caleb Williams took over. And what happened next shocked everyone.
Straight drop, 4-man rush, they pick it up, looking deep, steps up in the pocket, gonna wing it for the end zone for Mims, he comes back for it, he caught it! He
Caleb led an 18-point comeback, winning 55-48 and launching himself into stardom. A year later, he followed his head coach Lincoln Riley to USC, and he became the best quarterback in college football. In 2022, he threw for over 4,500 yards, accounted for 52 total touchdowns, and won the Heisman Trophy.
Caleb Williams, Southern Cal.
By the time he declared for the 2024 NFL Draft, he was widely viewed as a can't-miss generational prospect.
The Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams.
When the Chicago Bears selected him with the first overall pick, he immediately had the pressure of a franchise placed on his shoulders. He was expected to not just perform, but to also keep this unstable team intact. And for a moment, there was a spark. Caleb started his rookie year off strong, leading the Bears towards winning 4 of their first 6 games. For the first time in years, the city believed again. But then, everything fell apart in Week 7.
Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line. And the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle!
This last-second Hail Mary by the Commanders sent the Bears into a free fall. That loss would end up being the first of a 10-game losing streak where everything around Caleb spiraled. This collapse exposed the team's deepest problems. Caleb's supporting cast was poor. His offensive line rarely gave him time to even think. And worst of all, his own coaches didn't even bother teaching him.
Bears players told me that they felt mistakes were being overlooked, that things weren't being corrected on the fly when they should have been, and that was part of the reason for a 5-12 season last year.
It became clear that no matter how talented Caleb Williams was, his talent alone couldn't save a broken franchise, not when a team around him was actively holding him back. So, the Bears entered 2025 with a different approach. They hired a coach who could completely change the culture of this team.
The Chicago Bears have gotten their man. The team has agreed to terms with Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson on a contract to become their new head coach.
Over the course of the 2025 offseason, Ben Johnson and the front office rebuilt the roster from the ground up. And in training camp, he set the tone for this new Bears team.
Accountability and integrity are going to be the cornerstones of everything we're going to be about. Our players are going to understand the staff is going to be there to support them. And really, at the end of the day, there will be a level of discipline that they're looking to embrace here.
Ben Johnson pushed Caleb Williams to his limit over the summer. He was extra hard on him because he knew the potential that Caleb had within him. And at first, it was rough. Reports and videos surfaced of Caleb struggling in practice.
The Bears' offense and Caleb Williams were a disaster yesterday. At one point, Ben Johnson barking at him. Caleb Williams is super talented, but you're now starting to see last year OTAs in camp, some of the same problems, not as correctable as many of us think. And I got to tell you, we're going to know by early October if this guy can play.
But behind the scenes, Caleb was being recalibrated and fine-tuned. And after months of relentless work, Caleb Williams entered 2025 with a new confidence and with a belief that he could finally change this franchise. However, the Bears began the season poorly, losing their first 2 games against their divisional rivals.
And the Chicago Bears, who dropped to 0-2.
We got 15 more games. And there's been on multiple occasions teams that rally back and go on a run, and that's what we're focused on.
But then everything began to click. In Week 3 against the Cowboys, Caleb had the best performance of his NFL career up to that point, throwing for almost 300 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. 2 weeks later against the Commanders, he drove his offense down the field for a last-second game-winning kick.
Snap a bit high, kick is good, and the Bears win it.
In Week 7 against the Bengals, he tore apart their defense and capped the game off with an improbable last-minute game winner.
Loveland bangs off his man. He's going to score. Home. Colston Loveland in a jaw-dropper.
And it didn't stop there. These fourth-quarter comebacks became routine. No matter the deficit, the Bears kept finding ways to just win. Then came Week 16 against their most hated rival, the Green Bay Packers, the team that had owned them for over a decade. That's when it became clear that this team was different.
Looking downfield, launching downfield, going for it all! It is caught! Bears win it! DJ
Not long after that stunner in Soldier Field, the Bears clinched their first playoff berth since 2020 and their first division title since 2018. By the end of the season, Caleb Williams had grown into a great quarterback. He broke the franchise passing yard record and had arguably the best regular season by a Bears quarterback in the modern era. But more importantly, he had changed the direction of this franchise. For the first time in years, Chicago had real hope. They had a quarterback that could make magic happen, and there was a genuine belief that with Caleb Williams at the helm, they could make some noise in the playoffs. And almost like it was pulled straight out of a storybook, the Bears faced off against the Packers, again, this time in the wild card. However, the game started horribly. Green Bay dominated Chicago, and by halftime, they were trailing 21-3. But despite being in a deficit that no Bears quarterback had ever overcome in the postseason, no one in that stadium truly believed it was over. And sure enough, the Bears came out of the locker room with new life. Slowly and methodically, Caleb Williams and the Bears offense chipped away at the lead. But for me, the turning point of this game happened with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams faced 4th and 8 with the Bears season on the line. A moment like this can easily break most young quarterbacks. But what makes Caleb Williams so special is that when he's under the most pressure, that's exactly when he's at his best.
Have to get to the Green Bay 49. Williams chased, throws, and it's caught at the 30-yard line. Roma Dunze on a 4th and 8. Keeps it going.
With this one throw, Caleb Williams not only proved he truly was a generational talent, but he also marked the beginning of a new era of Chicago football.
Game is over! Game is over! The Bears have come from all the way behind, and they beat the Green Bay Packers 31-27. All the ghosts of 15 seasons has been released into this cold January night.